what's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson, and I am here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Tay On Tech. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, listen, one thing that I wanted to do with these podcasts is I want to sit down and have conversations with people who are really out there doing what they say they're doing. Specifically young men, because I want to put young, great men in front of boys, in front of kids, so they can see another example. Too often when you think about successful black men, you only have a certain group of men: entertainers, rappers, football players, rappers. And I'm going to say this like I always say it. A lot of these guys are my clients, but they will tell you that shit is hard to do. And many boys that come from neighborhoods like yours and mine, they don't understand how hard it is to make it in those lanes, but how relatively easy it is to make it in entrepreneurship. So that's why I want to bring somebody like you on. So, man, for those who don't know you, tell them who you are, where you from, where you about, man.
All right, so just a quick little background story on me. If you don't know me, my name is Tay or Tay, whichever, I don't really care. And I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, raised in a single parent household, only raised by my mom. I wouldn't say I was poor or anything like that, but definitely times was hard, all this stuff like that. And
you didn't have no silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah, not at all. I want to work 2 jobs, and due to her working so much, we didn't see each other as much. So it was like, I was always with my great aunt, who I considered my grandma at the time. So I didn't meet any of my grandparents. So it was literally just me, my mom, and my great aunt, which I call my grandma. So
wow.
Yeah, so I didn't really have as much support. I mean, my mom loved me to death, supported me in everything I needed to do, but I just didn't have like that outside family support that most people would probably typically used to have or have. And so, high school, played basketball, ran track, went off to college, ran track, had a knee injury, and that kind of stopped me from running track. Or at that point, I just didn't want to run track anymore. I realized I was like, it's not going to make me a lot of money. I'm not going to do a lot of things with it. Like most professional track athletes, they have a side job. Like they have another job.
Track is so hard. Like I don't think so. I have a client that's in track, and a lot of track and field people sell real estate. Like I used to work at a real estate office with a lady who ran for the Jamaican national team. It was either the Jamaican national team or Virgin Islands. I want to say it was one of the islands, and she was like, you Google her name comes up, and she was selling real estate. Not to knock her, but it's a really hard industry to monetize.
It is.
And so, wait a minute, when you say you ran track, like, did you do your thing, or was you just some regular old?
Nah, I was a high jumper. I mean, you got to go to when you go to college, you got to be at least decent to get to college.
Yeah. Well, now that was a setup, because I hear you. Don't you have like a record at your old school?
Yeah,
that was a setup. See, you being real modest now, man. That's super modest. You went to an actual college and you hold a record at the college. Tell us about that record, man.
So I actually went to school 6'11". So I jumped at there. Still there actually. School called University of Mobile in Alabama. So you guys go look at there, Mobile, Alabama. So and then also I just realized I made the all-decade team too. I just found that out. So
whoa, wait a minute. Pause for a second. You made the all-decade team for your college?
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
dope.
I actually, the way I found out about it is I ended up Googling myself, and I found the article about it. So they didn't even reach out to me and tell me about it. I just found out about it and was like, oh, snap, like I made the all-decade team. So
that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. How'd that make you feel when you saw that you made it?
It made me feel good, but at this point, I was like, I'm 24, 25 at the time. So it's like I have other things that I'm going on in life. I mean, it definitely felt great at the time. I feel like if I was probably still in college, still pursuing a career, I was pursuing my track career, probably would have definitely been a little bit more fulfilling. But, sports is kind of, I don't really care for it at this point, like as far as career-wise.
So talk about that transition because, I found you through a group of guys, man. We're part of this group chat. I don't know how we all got in this group chat. Our brother Andre, I always shout Andre out, Andre C. Hatchet, man. But I met you through those guys, and I'll never forget when I met you. I was like, man, this dude is sharp. This dude, at the time I met you, you were 25. had done some amazing things in tech, made some great money.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew you because you had like a really cool car. You were in like a McLaren, And I said, one thing that I pride myself on is not being one of them old niggas that hate old niggas. I'm talking about, like, a lot of them old cats my age, they see somebody doing something big and they be, man, how they do it? I'm like, man.
Nah, it was funny because a lot of people thought like that was coming from like my family. Like, I don't know why people assume I come from money. I don't know where they get that from.
I can tell you exactly where they get that from. Typically, when you see a black person that is successful, he or she is doing a handful of things. Mm-hmm. So, first things first, you're an entertainer, you're an athlete.
Mm-hmm. I got that one a lot.
Because you're tall. You're already 6'3", right?
I would get that a lot.
So,
you play basketball? No.
Anybody who knows me knows I can't hoop to save my damn life, right? I can play ball, but I can't hoop, mm-hmm. right? And I'm 6'2". Mm-hmm. So people would always assume that I played basketball. Mm-hmm. My favorite sport was baseball. I can't play basketball at all. Mm-hmm. But whenever they would see me in certain avenues, they would assume that I was an athlete. So we're either entertainers, we're athletes, or you sell dope, mm-hmm. or you just
Yeah.
The last thing is, I actually earned it. Like very rarely do you see people jump to that conclusion that maybe you actually earn what you do.
No, it's always are you an athlete or are you a rapper? Like literally when I had my McLaren, it was so crazy. Like people was like, oh, like who you play for? I was like, what? Like no, like I wish I but nah, like I don't play any sports. So yeah, I got that one a lot. Either that or a rapper.
Yeah, I mean you have you look like an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like I even sound like a stereotype. Like if a person sees you, like man, you're 6'3", right?
Yeah,
6'3", very lean. Like you look like you can play ball. But one thing I'm learning, specifically being a real estate broker, mm-hmm. I saw that a lot. Whenever I would go into the room, no one ever assumed that I was the broker. Mm-hmm. They automatically thought that I was either the person that was either buying a house or the agent, and they would be like, "What's your name?" Like Tim Jackson, who's your company? Tim Jackson Realty. Like, who are you again? I'm Tim Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there weren't too many black men that look like me doing what I'm doing. But enough about me. I want to talk more about you because you actually went to school. Mm-hmm. You have an interesting story. You said that you knew in the 9th grade that you wouldn't make it pro.
Oh yeah, yeah, nah, man. I had an early wake up call, man. Like. Because at the time, this was like Hoop Miss Tape and all that was kind of going around.
Yep.
I'm like, man, they ain't even in my game. Like, my name is nowhere. And this is 9th grade. Yep. And then I'm saying, like, some of the people, like, I'm not even the best person on my team. And don't get me wrong, like, I didn't really have a passion to go pro. I feel like, maybe if I would have put a little bit more work in, I probably would have had a change of thought. But I feel like that was probably the best for me. Because I didn't want to follow that typical path of being, like, a guy, want to rely on sports, and then if it don't work out for me, then I'm there. What else am I gonna do? Like I've seen too many of my friends that's crazy athletes, crazy athletic, and like their plan A was I'm going pro, and when it didn't work out for them, they literally had no plan. Like a lot of them ended up going back to the streets, selling drugs and stuff like that, and it's like damn, like we thought he like in high school we thought he was gonna be the one to sign the big contracts and stuff like that, and unfortunately it didn't turn out that way.
I saw that all too often growing up. I actually grew up with a lot of guys that made it to the league or mm-hmm. went pro or were really, really good, and they just didn't pan out. Because when you get to that next level, it's really political.
It is.
I had a neighbor who got drafted by the Texas Rangers mm-hmm. straight out of high school, and he was good. I'm talking about this dude. He was good at baseball, man. And it didn't work out because, he'll tell his own story. And he's a good dude. We still keep in touch with him. But he tells his own story about how when he got down there, his mind wasn't right. Mm-hmm. He still wanted to be, a nigga from Pleasant Grove, And that doesn't bode well for business.
It don't.
Especially in a sport that
it's real
has been documented, strategically documented to not attract black Americans, right? So... then I saw people who go off to college, and go to D1 schools, or guys who were freakish athletes, but they couldn't get into a D1 school because the grades were bad. Like people don't tell you got to take an SAT.
Yeah.
And so, man, I want to go play for Duke. It's like, do you know the requirements to get into Duke?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be super smart to get into Duke. So, you said in the 9th grade you knew you weren't gonna go pro. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about you going to college. Mm-hmm. You got to college. You did well in track. You got hurt. What was the next step? What happened after that?
For that one, I actually went into a deep depression, kind of like the thing, like, you know, that's what was paying for school. That's also around the time I was moving out here to Texas. So I was going to transfer and go to school out here. And I was training or whatever during the summer, came out, messed my knee up. And it was just like, damn, like, I didn't really realize how that made me feel. Because, like, at that point, I'm telling coaches, like, hey, you know, had this knee injury, I'm dealing with this. Oh, well, we want you to walk on now. We want you to do this. And some of these schools, $30,000, $40,000 a year.
Money started drying up.
Yeah, and so it was just like, damn, I got to go back on my academics now. Because, like, my GPA wasn't really that good in high school. It was like a 2.8. But also, I scored a 30 on the ACT. And I only took it one time.
That's good.
Yeah, so I took it one time in the 10th grade. And I was like, well, if I'm trying to go to school for, like, sports and stuff like that, a 30 would be more than enough to get me in. Usually it's required like an 18 or something like that. So luckily I had a 30 ACT score and my GPA was pretty decent when it came to that. I was like, school it is. And I kind of already knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew, like, you know, at first, well, I'm not going to say I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Because I thought I was going to be like a politician or something like that.
Politician?
Yeah, I thought I wanted to be a politician. And after I just started taking like some of the classes and just like all the reading and all the research, I was like, this is not for me.
That's funny because my degree is interdisciplinary studies.
That's
which
exactly,
is, you know,
that's what I got.
But I had that's the best degree.
It is.
That's essentially underwater basket weaving now. But I studied political science and history, and then I went on to got my master's in history. But it's funny you say that because I was so intrigued with politics,
Yeah,
like to the point to where I really wanted to get into politics, and then I saw that politics is crazy.
It is.
But I want to talk about something, specifically your transition, because you got to your next college, you were doing your academic thing. You could have walked. Did you walk onto the team?
No, I quit like after that because I started learning internships and stuff like that.
And that's what I want to talk about. Something key happened to you. You started to work, and then you started to learn about stocks.
Yeah.
And you started to pique your interest. You were going for engineering, right?
Yeah. So originally it was network engineering or computer science. That's where I originally started it, and that's kind of like, you know, what kind of gauged my interest originally.
Okay. But then you started studying up on these stocks.
I was actually already doing stocks.
Okay.
So I was doing stocks around 18, 19.
But you ran a play though. Like then you go for broke.
Yeah.
Tell us that story, man.
Okay, all right.
That's what really intrigued me about you. Like I was reading something about you. I don't know if I was reading your bio, I was watching your video, but like you went for broke on your stocks. Like cashed out your credit cards and was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this for real, I'm gonna go all in. I'm not just dipping the toe in the water. I'm going to that 15-foot diving board and I'm gonna jump up off that thing and I'm gonna get into it. Tell us about that, man, because a lot of kids don't get told stories like these. They, you know, it's kind of like when you watch a TV show and within a 30-minute period of time, you go through a whole progression. But there's some key points that are missing from stories that can literally change people's lives if they just heard the details. Like, tell us how you bet on yourself and how they work out.
So this is actually for the people that haven't like heard this anything. Like I'm well established in my career at this time, so I was making really great money, well over 6 figures doing that. I think I was around like 23 or 24 at the time.
So you were 23, 24.
Yeah, this was COVID.
What were you making a year?
So my very first job right out of college, I was actually still in college. I was making about $118,000 per year.
Doing what again?
Security. I was actually a security analyst at the time. I wasn't even an engineer. So, around that time when I was, you know, took the bet on like the stock market and stuff like that, I think I was making about 140, 150 around that time.
Okay.
And so I didn't really have any like crazy expenses or anything like that. I had rent, and I had a roommate at the time. And so I rent a piece. We were saying,
wait. You mean to tell me? I gotta ask you this, because within the and I'm not trying to like crap on nobody, but within our community, it's like we feel like we have to be grown.
Nah, man. Honestly, bro. I'm not gonna lie. If my mom stayed here in Texas, I would be living with my mom. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would save so much. I mean, even though I make a large sum of money, and I know like the type of relationship me and my mom had, I wouldn't even like if I want to do anything or whatever, go to a hotel, or whatever. But you know, still,
hey man,
anything like that. But yeah, I would still be staying with my mom. I probably would have moved out around this age. I probably moved out for sure. But I ain't even gonna lie, I definitely would still been staying with my mom.
I want to pin it right there for a second. Okay. When I worked in corporate, and it's important to tell these stories.
Mm-hmm.
I work for a Korean-based technology company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're not paying me, so I ain't gonna say their name. But what I learned was that, specifically in the Korean culture, like you don't move out until you get married.
Mm-hmm.
So like they, the ones that were from Korea, like they they graduated high school, they went to the military for 2 years. After they went to the military, they came back and went to college. So between 18 and 20 or 21, they were in the military. From 21 or 20 to about 25 or whatever, like 20 to 25, they were in college. From there, they moved back home and they stacked their bread, and then they got married at 30. And it was like the formula. So like by the time they were 30, I'll never forget because I had coworkers that did this. By the time they were 30, they would marry someone who followed the same philosophy, and they would buy houses for cash. So now you have two people they're working this $100,000 a year job. They're living at home. They're not paying any bills.
Yep.
They're saving essentially 80% of their check.
Yeah.
And now they're getting married with what's 8 times 5?
Yeah.
$400,000 a piece.
Yeah. Like probably even more sometimes.
And this is when houses were $250,000.
Yeah.
This is when houses were cheap. Now they're paying for this house cash. You're going to a whole new lifestyle with no debt. But me, as soon as I turned 18, I wanted my own shit.
Nah, that was a crazy thing. But I'm not gonna lie, I felt the same way. Not gonna lie, I definitely felt the same way. But luckily, I went to college, so like I didn't really have any bills. And even in college, my mom didn't really want me working. Yeah. So fortunately, she struggled and worked a lot for me to be able not to work. But I was also selling shoes and trading stocks and stuff like that as well too in college. So I have extra income. You
always had a hustle.
Yeah.
Always. You always had a legal hustle.
Yeah. Always.
Right. So let's get back into these stocks, man, because when I saw that you like literally cashed out your credit cards, and said, "I'm gonna run these stock plays," but then you also did something. You started to create content around it, teaching people and showing them that lifestyle, and your life changed forever. Talk about that, man.
All right, so this was around the pandemic. So this was like once in a lifetime. So this is not the norm. I'm not gonna lie. This is not normally something that always happens in the stock market. But this round, like all the stocks, everything was dropping, and because like I had been, studying, I've been investing in stocks. Like I know how it is. Like I know how this stuff move. I know all this stuff. So my roommate, he was definitely scared. He's not the risk taker, but he also worked in technology. And so I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, first off, you're not gonna get laid off. And if you do get laid off, it's easy to find another job. You work in technology. Like I've been laid off before at a company, and I had got a job paying me 25% more within 2 weeks. And so that's a different topic as well too that we can jump on. So yeah, like I'm just like, nah, bro. Like I'm literally like I'm living off all my credit cards. Like rent's $900 at the time. I had like a $600 car note. Dumb, I know, whatever. And so my checks, I'm probably bringing in like maybe 8,000-9,000 a month, and this is just like from my job. So it's not even like outside of other stuff that I'm doing, stuff like that. And so I was taking all this money, like all my sign-on bonuses. I had just received like a $40,000 sign-on bonus.
Oh man, in tech?
So yeah, so
wait. You got a $40,000 sign-on bonus in tech?
Yeah, that's not even the biggest sign-on bonus.
Did this job need a degree? I'm just curious to know.
No.
This is through a job that just required a certification.
Not even that, really. Like it's just.
Are you kidding me?
It's more so experience. Like I'm not gonna be the one that's like, oh, you can do this without that. But you don't need a degree. You don't need a certification.
Okay.
It's can you do the job? Yes or no. If you can, come on. If you can't, then it can't really do enough for you.
Okay.
But yeah. So,
and you were smart because you got intern style jobs while you were in college to learn.
Exactly.
So, no, let's talk about that for a second because
Okay.
I feel like we're finna peel back a bunch of layers.
Yeah.
But people need to see this. People need to hear these conversations because too often, this is what's in my inbox. I can show you my inbox right now.
Uh-huh.
Typically, it's somebody that's between the age of 19 and 25 that's like, Mr. Tim, I want to be like you. I want to sell real estate. I want to be a real estate investor. Tell me exactly what you did. And what they want me to do is tell them 3 things, and they'll go out tomorrow and do those 3 things, and then they make $500,000 on the first deal.
Yeah.
But it seems like you had to eat a little shit.
Yeah.
To learn what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then it paid off.
Yeah. So even the crazy thing about tech interns, I was still making $30-$40 an hour as an intern, and I was getting like $10,000-$15,000 sign-on bonuses.
Are you kidding me? As an intern?
Like I think the most I ever got paid as an intern was like $42 an hour, and they gave me like a $20,000 sign-on bonus as an intern. So also like, and again, I'm still investing in stocks and stuff like this. So after all these sign-on bonus and stuff like this, I'm taking all my money and I'm throwing it in stocks already. So I already had like a nice chunk size of a portfolio. And so around the time when COVID hit, like everything was just down. Like everything was shit. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy, keep buying. And then all of a sudden, everything that started going up. At this point in the stock market, bro, you can just buy something and it was going up. Like it was no strategy to it.
I remember that. I got on TikTok because of you. I was
Yeah.
like, this dude is really teaching this stuff. And we were in the group chat. I was like, man, this dude really know what he's talking about. Yeah.
So at that time I was trading options, and I never forget it. Like I had like a Tesla play, and I think I made like $75,000 off a Tesla option play, and I took that money and dumped in like another stock. I believe I bought some more Tesla stock or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what I was doing, I was like leveraging.
Wait. You drove a Tesla too, though, right?
Yeah.
Hey, drive what you invest.
Yeah.
Buy what you invest in, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And
so you use your Tesla stock plays to buy a Tesla.
Yeah. So at the time, that was like a year or so later though. But like bro, like the options plays, like it was crazy. And then I was leveraging my options. Like anytime like the market was down, like I trade the same like tech stocks. I only invest in tech. And so like anytime the stock market be going, I buy some options out to leverage against it, take that money from that and throw it back in that stock. So while I'm losing money, I'm not really losing money. I'm making money on the stocks dropping. I just go add it back and add to my position. And so again, the stock market.
You got a class on that, right?
No, I don't.
You tripping?
No, yeah. So the thing, because I was teaching on social media, because I feel like when it came to stocks and stuff, like so many people say, "Hey, bro, you need to make a course." I was like, "Nah, I just ready to give you the same resources that I use."
That's dope.
To do that, because I feel like like the stock market and stuff like that, it's really just been hidden from us, or not even hidden, but they don't talk about it with us. And
hidden
stuff
in
like
plain
that.
sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just really wanted like people to really understand, like, hey, you can really do this, you can do this, like you can really make money in the stock market. Like even if you don't want to trade, because even now, like more so my philosophy now, I don't trade stocks anymore. I just buy and hold.
Really?
So I just, because like my portfolio is like big enough where I don't really have to take the risk in doing that. Like I don't
you
have
live
to
off the
trade
interest
stocks.
now.
Yeah, type thing. So it's more.
Is that the right term?
Yeah, live dividends.
Dividends.
Yeah,
I said
thing.
interest. Yeah.
Same thing though. It's same
so
thing.
I have no clue about stocks. I'm just now trying to learn. My nephew is really into it. I've always been a real estate guy. So, buy and hold, shit like that. But I watched you do this, and I watched you, like, watching your story, but you literally went for broke.
Yeah. No, I was living off credit cards.
So talk about why that's important, because like I said, a lot of kids, a lot of men, a lot of people under 30, a lot of people in their 40s, they don't understand the concept of going for broke. Like, I was able to succeed in real estate because I literally went for broke. I tell the story all the time how, I didn't have, as my mom say, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. If you from the South, you don't heard that term, right?
Yeah.
But I literally just threw everything I had into knowing that I studied this shit. I understood it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that could happen is I just lose a little money.
Man,
I can just go get a job.
That's my philosophy. That's exactly like, because luckily I had a great paying job.
Yeah.
So it's like either this going to pay off and I'm going to make a lot of money, or I'm going to go broke and have this job that's going to still pay. Like I had no responsibilities. So it's like, what's the worst that can happen? Lose money. And then I don't lose money because I never sold the stock. So, you know what I mean? Like it was a win-win situation for me.
It seemed like it was a lot of mindset that went into it.
It was.
Why do you think you thought that way? Because the average person doesn't think that way. Like I talk to people a lot of times about, you have to think like the 1%. And within the black community, we're the 1% of the 1%. So it's an even lesser thought. Like I'm on the record saying that black folks, man, we so gangster when it come to, we'll fuck and fight anybody, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes time to run a play financially, we want to pray about it, or we want to, let me think about this shit. And it's just like, it's not that we won't take risk. It's just that when it's something unfamiliar to us, we're afraid. But like, how did you familiarize yourself with the stock market? Like, what got you into the stock market at 18?
So this was the thing, like, cause my mom, she didn't really want me working or whatever. I was playing sports. I didn't really have time. So it was like, I was selling shoes too. So in high school, I was flipping shoes. So I go take that money and I'll go throw in the stocks. And at the time, like, I didn't really like. I had to open a brokerage in my mom's name because I couldn't do it.
So I promise you that was my next question. Like, how did your mom? Did she aid you? Did she help you? And then how did she feel about you putting all your money in the stock market? Because
So she really didn't know. Like I just told my mom, like, hey, mom, I need your social because I'm opening up this. So like, you know, and she knew I wasn't like doing no crazy
fraud, no crazy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was like, here, like she gave it to me, and I opened up and I did that. And once I turned 18, I just transferred it over to mine.
Damn, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's
so,
interesting.
yeah,
That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
One, but it's kind of like courage and craziness, right? Because at the end of the day, you're like, oh shit, you know, I need to do it, so I just did. It's like a survival thing, right? So, it's interesting because one of the reasons why I became a real estate broker is because my mother and stepfather worked a lot. And so I never forget, I tell a story about a friend of mine who, everybody had that rich friend in high school that had the car freshman year, you know. And my homegirl, her mom, was in real estate. She was a real estate broker. And I'll never forget, I asked, like, what does your mom do? To me, having that freedom of being able to go to my son's games or come to my son's school, like her mom would come to the school all the time. My mom couldn't take off work and come to my school like that. Same. You know what I'm saying? So me seeing that, and then after a certain age, my grandmother moved in with us, and I had to take care of my grandmother. She had Alzheimer's, and just think to myself, man, I wish I had money to pay somebody to do this shit. Like that was literally my motivation to like just go out there and just take risk financially, because my thing is it can't be no worse than this, right?
Exactly.
It can't get no worse than this. So, but a lot of people are so afraid to bet on themselves. Like, what would you tell somebody knowing your story about the importance of betting on yourself? Because credit card interest rates are high as shit.
Yeah, no, but and then that's also the good thing about it too, because again, like I got paid great salary, so my story is it's kind of like it's not the norm. Like it is the norm, like from the early stages.
I respect you for saying that because, and I'm gonna tell you why I respect that. A lot of people get on social media and they bullshit people. All you gotta do is these 4 easy steps, and it's like, no, nigga, you don't do 4 easy steps. This shit took 3-4 years.
Yeah, it definitely took time.
And you're seeing the residual. You're seeing the fruit.
Yeah,
right. The tree. It took years. So I respect you for doing that, because in a social media world where everyone's got a get rich quick scheme, you're very cautious to say my story is unique. But if we can just keep it real, man, your story really isn't that unique. And I'm going to tell you why. Hard work always pays off. Yeah. And you stuck to that shit. You stuck with it. It's unique because within our community, we don't see what you're doing as much as we see the athletes and the entertainers. But talk about that importance of having that work ethic and just believing in yourself, man.
Yeah, so honestly, like with the whole, like, you know, me kind of going into tech, I just have a passion for it as well too. So it's like, it paid great money, but it's also, I liked it too. So like when I'm working and I'm doing stuff like that, like even like this past like month or two, I spent about over 200 hours learning a new skill for my job.
Stop, bro. Stop. So let's talk about that, because damn, like I throw up the oop and you keep catching it, and it's like we're going down a rabbit hole. But continuing education.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people who are stuck right now because they just won't take a course.
Yeah, no, I'm big. I buy courses. Like I buy courses.
Boy, I buy so many courses,
man,
bro.
I have a lot of courses.
Yeah.
And I actually take the courses.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like for me, I wanted to make it like a different transition. I work for a crypto company called Ripple right now. Yeah. And so, you know, I want to be a security engineer, but I also kind of want to go into like cloud security and blockchain security. And, you know, both are fairly new, blockchain being way newer. Cloud security.
Back up again. The theme of this interview is going to be back up. You're not only taking risks, but you're going into industries that are fairly new.
Yeah.
You understand the reward that comes from being the first person in that industry.
Exactly.
Talk about the thought process of going into a new industry, because that would scare the shit out of some people.
Yeah, nah. So it's still kind of scary, but like luckily for the company I work for, like their product is going to change the world. Like if you know, everyone know like SWIFT, no short brochure accounts is basically they trying to solve cross-border payments. Like, you know, if I'm in America trying to send money over to Brazil, it's way faster, almost instant.
Really?
Versus like 3-4 days. And high wire fees and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the problem that they're tackling is truly like going to be change the world. And most of the time you hear people talking about cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that. And those good cryptos, but like what they're trying to do, like it's going to change the world. And so for me to just kind of jump on and kind of do something like that, like I always knew like it's like the next transition in my career is going to go cloud or blockchain. Cloud been around for 10 plus years, still fairly new. Like when you think about it,
It's very new.
Yeah, people still gonna adjust to it. You now starting to see like these SaaS software as a service companies.
I'm just not starting to trust it.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm literally just not starting to trust it because of all the data breaches and people losing. You know what got me to not trust it? When the Jill Scott photos got leaked. Jill Scott was in the mirror, and then I think like a Tay Diggs photo got leaked. I'm like, man, they putting these people out there, man.
So no, that's the thing about it though. So you seeing like all these data breaches and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, it's a need for it. And so blockchain security is so new, you can't really find any trainings for it. You literally have to read white papers. You have to like learn blockchain development and kind of like, okay, take my security mindset and how would I apply this to like blockchain security engineering.
So for a person like yourself who likes to think and solve problems, this is the perfect job.
Yeah, perfect. Like most of the challenges I'm going to be facing, they've never been solved. So that's kind of what drew me to that. Like we're going to a space where no one has really done it. Like no one has done it. Swift's been around forever, and so it's just really it really like I turned that off from Google to come here.
Really?
Yeah. So So
that says something in itself because Google is like the company that everyone
wants to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I turned down that offer to come here.
And they trying to hire more people like you, like for diversity.
Exactly.
To check that, hit that check box so they can keep getting them. All right, so you get into stocks, you put all your money in, and you dump all the money you have into it. The shutdown happens, stocks plummet, then they start rising. You start building wealth with that. You didn't take your money. You start. I saw that you purchased real estate. I see that you're getting involved in a lot of things. Why is it so important for people to diversify their thinking along with their assets? Because one of the things that you're into that you got me into actually is the watch game.
Yeah.
I didn't realize before I met you and a few others, but I remember one day we were in a group chat and you just broke it down to a science like these watches aren't available, so people are paying all this money. Here's an example. I bought this watch and I paid this much for it, and then I sold it for this much and I bought it. And now you're essentially flipping these watches and you're like, there's this one watch I wanted to get that's like $200,000. And I was sitting there reading this thread and I never, I think I started talking in the thread more after that.
Yeah.
But it was like, how do you understand how important it is to not stay in one area, but to learn something, master it, and then also take that money to start learning and mastering other things? Because the watch game by itself, you can probably just retire off of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So my thing was with me, I think a lot of things that motivates me is just like kind of the way I grew up. Like I didn't want to be. So I didn't want to be like I didn't want to be broke. Like I never want to go back broke again. And then like when the pandemic happened and all those things, it showed me right then and there. Because at that time I was only in stocks. I was kind of wanting to delve into real estate, but I realized, all right, if this plummeted, what else I'm going to have to be able to go do something else? And so that's when I started like, all right, let me kind of dip in real estate. Let me buy some property. And during that time span, I bought like about 4, maybe 5 properties within like a 2-year time period or whatever. And so it was just like, all right, I need to diversify. I realized the importance of diversification and all of those great things like that. And so another thing, like I'm not going to say I've always been into watches, but I've kind of always understood like the importance of having a nice watch. Like
I thought I knew watches until I started rocking with you. I used to always wear the Movados.
Yeah. So Movados great watches.
They're a nice watch, but I get way more attention off of them Rolexes. When I tell you, like people like, oh, well, let me say, and this is I don't want to sound pompous.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to sound elitist, but different people notice.
No, that's status.
That's status.
No, that's status.
Like.
You get the attention because they like, in my head, what are you doing for a $15,000, $20,000 watch? You got to be doing something important.
And you know what they do? They want to know what you're doing.
Yep.
And if it's something that benefits them.
Exchange contact information.
They engage.
Yep.
I have a cousin, so he's probably owned every exotic car you can think of outside of a Bugatti. Like literally. And he was on driving these cars in his 30s, like late 20s, early 30s. And I was like, man, why are you buying these cars? He's like, bro,
That's just currency.
I get more business just by pulling up in this car than I would ever get from running an ad on social media. He said, and the type of business that I attract is like the type of business you want. The people that's going to pay me $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to do the same job that a person would pay me $1,000 to do. He said, I'm literally doing the exact same thing.
That's for the higher clientele.
I'm just doing it for a higher clientele, and they don't even bullshit. They don't even give me the same headache as $1,000. I was like, to the point where now he's diversified and they're doing all kinds of stuff now, but it started with just that. Yeah.
Networking. Like that's kind of like what inspired me to get my McLaren as well too. Like the amount of people I met, because it kind of all started. Like I had bought myself a Rolex for college for graduation, and again I had great internships. So there you go. So I bought a Rolex, but I got it for graduation, and I think like 3-4 months in, I was like, now I'm thinking I really haven't done anything to like really afford a Rolex.
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of had like an imposter syndrome situation. I was like, well, next time I buy like, a very expensive watch, I want to come from like passive income. I don't want to come from like money that, I had to work for. And so I said,
no, wait. When you said you want to come from passive income, you want to come from the money that you made essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
how old were you again?
At this time I was like 22.
Damn.
So yeah, I was about 22.
That's a good place to be at 22.
22.
That's a good place to be. Most people at 22 is still hitting the frat parties.
Yeah, nah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was still partying, but like I had my priorities set.
The party was the cherry on top.
Yeah.
It wasn't the cake.
No. I would never. I'm the type of person, like, if I know I have to go do something at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm not gonna be out partying all night. Okay. I was never like that.
There's nothing wrong with partying.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong. I tell people all the time, like, it's this thing on social media where people just feel like you gotta have no life to be successful. I'm like,
bullshit.
no, that's bullshit. Like, stop getting cheese on your cheeseburgers. Save, like, no, to make more, you don't save to get wealthy. You invest.
You'll never save yourself the wealth. That's the biggest lie that black folks, poor people, anybody was ever taught, is that you can save yourself. It's virtually impossible to save yourself the wealth.
Inflation at what 7-8% right now, so you losing money like that. But yeah, like that, I've never been like the saving type of person. Like even like when I was like making money from flipping shoes and stuff like that, I didn't really care to save money. Like I was throwing my money in stocks. So it was just like, cool. Or I was taking that and rebuying shoes and stuff like that. So I've never been like the saver type of guy. Even now, like I don't like to save. Like I don't even have a savings account.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the bank only protects $250,000 of it.
Exactly.
Now you can manipulate that, of course, if you open up, but
multiple accounts.
Get multiple accounts with different people. So you got to get it with different Social Securities. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
So FDI, the way it works with FDIC is you can open up 20 accounts, but it's all tied to the same social, so you only get $250.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dang.
But the way you navigate that is you open up a different account with a different name, so each person gets it. So like in my case, I can open up an account for me, then I open up an account for my son, then I open up an account for my wife, then I can open up an account with my sister, and that's $1 million.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. I didn't know. I thought it was like $250,000 each account.
It's based on the Social Security number.
I just learned something new.
Yeah, man. It's based on your Social Security number, man.
Okay,
so another way to circumvent that is, and for all the banking people out there who watching this, because I feel like a lot of people are gonna see this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hit me up in the inbox or hit me up in the comments. But you have the FDIC, then you have the NC, the credit union one. I think it's NCIC or something like that. NC. So I think you can to get around that. You can open up one for a credit union too. So like you get the $250,000 with the FDIC, and I think the credit union is like $250 or $200. Okay. But I mean, once you start making that type of money, you'll realize that's not really a lot of money.
It is.
And I'm not. That's not.
No, it is. But like for my goals and aspirations of what I want to do, it's not that much relative.
It's a lot of money to. It's a lot of money. Yeah. Don't get me twisted. Yeah. If you say, Tim, I'm gonna give you $250,000, I'm taking that shit right now, right?
Yeah.
But once you start to incur expenses in life,
exactly.
Like I never in a million years thought I'd pay $4,000 for rent for my business. Right?
Exactly.
You couldn't have told me that 5 years ago that my business rent would be $4,000 a month. During a pandemic when nobody came to the office.
Man, yeah.
Think about that,
That's
right? So
2 years, 24, shit.
That's just for the 2 years that people didn't come. I had a 4 or 5 year lease. So you got to think about that, right? So then, like even now, like the goal now we're looking to purchase a building, right? Because it's like, well, I gave all them all my money.
About that,
But when I sat down and like did the numbers and I'm looking at everything, I'm like, gosh, like $100,000 went like that.
Yeah.
Like literally, you know, just my expenses were more than
like
that.
My living expenses now, like I want to say my living expenses by themselves probably like $7,000 a month.
A month.
Yeah. It's like my car notes, I think like $1,600. My rent is like $3,500, and that's just those two things. That's not even like eating, like haircuts, like yeah. So yeah, my
when I had hair, I got my hair cut. Like even now, I do, but I used to get a haircut every week, sometimes twice a week.
Yeah. Because
I was a corporate trainer.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta be fly. You know what I'm saying? Then my son, I take him to get a haircut with me. So I'm spending $150, $200 on haircuts.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
So expenses add up.
They do, and a lot of people don't understand that. I always tell people, it's not the product; it's the maintenance that breaks you.
Yeah.
Like even when you buy a car like a McLaren, like you can't rotate the tires on a McLaren.
Yeah. Expensive.
You know how much? How much the oil change on your McLaren? Did you ever have to change it?
No, I actually didn't have to change it. I had it for 8 months, so I actually didn't. I didn't get the chance to do that. But I think oil change was like $300. I think $200-$300.
Yeah. Oh, you whenever you do that, you block the camera.
Oh,
no, it's all good. This guy, he's trying to show out his watch. I do it again. Show him the watch. Show him the watch. Nah, man. So let's talk about that because my cousin had a Lamborghini. I can't think of which one. He's had several.
Oh, well, I know you said several.
He's had several. So I'll never forget. And he had it wrapped like this bright orange color. So, and he lived in Northern California. And people in Northern California don't drive bright orange Lamborghinis. Yeah. So I'll never forget. I went to go visit one time. He's like, "Yeah, man, you want to take the Lambo for a spin?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" You know. And every time we would go visit him, like instead of renting cars, we would just drive his cars because he had so many of them. And I'll never forget. I went on a spin around downtown Sacramento. I was gone for 20 minutes. I think I was probably in about 100 people's TikToks. I was literally soaking wet from sweating because it was that much attention. Like everywhere I went, grown-ups would stop and take their phone out. Like I always tell the story how I got to the stoplight and this dude was like in a BMW, a nice BMW drop top. And him and his friend were talking, and they were happy. And then they looked at me, and his whole demeanor changed. It was like, one, who are you?
Yeah.
But talk to our audience about like the pressure of having a car like that, because I don't think people understand the pressure.
Yeah. So I'm not even gonna lie, like,
because you said, I'll never forget when you sold. You was like, I gotta get rid of this thing. Like I'm sick of the attention. I'm sick of it.
So there's two things that kind of messed up my whole perspective when I bought a McLaren. So first off, when I bought the McLaren, it was like, because I went from like a Tesla to a McLaren.
Yeah.
So I ain't go no in between. I just went straight supercar. So it's very hard for me now to kind of get like the feeling, like, because I like adrenaline rushes. So it was really hard for me to get like that adrenaline rush again. And for that, like that car, like, don't get me wrong, I got a lot of business, but you get a lot of attention as well too. And it's not the attention that a lot of people think, like, you know, because girls don't really care about, you know, a lot of people do stuff.
Women don't care about those cars,
man.
I
mean, they be like, oh, nice, this, you know, they don't even know.
They think everything is a Porsche or Ferrari.
Like,
not trying to be funny, ladies. Don't send me no hate mail.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this Corvette. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a $100,000 car. So, but yeah, like, it was just like, most of the attention I got was from men. And so, like, I'd be like, because at one point I was like, you know, I'm not going to get 10 on my cars. Like, I want them to see a black man driving the car. And that quickly changed my mind. Like, I constantly had people like, hey, roll your window down. Hey, do this. Like, walk up to the car and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm like, hey, bro, like, you know, my background don't walk up like that.
But they don't see stuff like that often.
Yeah.
So it's like, one, to see it, then to see you in it, you know. So they're going to naturally... And this is the thing about respect, and I don't care how anyone feels about this. You know, people get real comfortable with black men. Yeah. Like, they feel like they know you. Hey, bro.
You would not walk up to a white man doing that.
They would not.
You would not. And the like boundaries, it definitely was, it wasn't there. Yeah. And I was like, nah, nah. But then also when I sold it for like $60,000 more than I paid for it.
Yeah.
So
you sold it at the right time.
Yeah, I
because
did.
you had the shortage of cars, the shortage of chips.
yeah,
Everything went up. Like I bought my wife a Lexus during that time, and the Lexus. I mean, that's just a Lexus. They were up like almost $10,000 for a new Lexus. It's like what?
yeah,
And, I mean, I never forget. We walked into the dealership, and he was like, "Man, I can't do a deal for you." He's like, "I'll be honest with you, Tim. As soon as you leave, somebody's gonna want this car." He said, "The most I can do is because you're a veteran. I'll knock off $1,000." I was like, "Okay."
yeah. No, like that's the truth. Like
Yeah.
the whole negotiating thing, stuff like that. You can't really do that no more.
It's gone.
Like it's it's yeah.
Did you sell it
can't
back to a
really do
dealership or?
No, wait, did I? No, I sold it private.
Okay.
I sold it private. So it was a guy. He actually had been reaching out to me trying to buy it for the longest.
Really?
Yeah, and
How did he find you? Just saw you on Instagram?
yeah, TikTok. So
Yeah.
I seen it on TikTok or whatever, and obviously people I was like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. But it's like, nah, like I really want to buy it. Like whenever you want to sell it, let me know. And I
That's
was
dope.
Like, all right, cool.
So you got out of that. You downsized to something still cooler, but
Yeah.
I want you to talk about the importance of being the part versus just looking the part. Because a lot of people don't understand is you can rent a car. You know, if you've been to Miami lately,
Yeah,
you can
man.
definitely rent your lifestyle. But people don't understand like what comes with that. Like I look at the content that you produce. You're always producing content. You are always working. I don't think I've ever not seen you working. And through that, you've gotten a lot of partnerships, like chairs, headphones. Like you're
Yeah.
always working. But a lot of kids, a lot of men, a lot of adults don't understand why it's so important to work as much as you work and how the reward that they see, you pulling up in that car for that moment in time, the views from your apartment, a watch. They don't understand what it took to get that. Like speak about that.
Yeah,
speak about that
man.
sacrifice. Cause
Yeah, man. Like so, even just like the beginning of my career, like a lot of people see me now and they think I come from money or they think I was just like handed to it. Like, bro, it would be times like I would be like studying and learning stuff from like 9 p.m. to like 3 o'clock in the morning, like multiple occasions. Like, and then I'll have to wake up and go to class at 8 o'clock in the morning. Or, like also I was working overnight too. Yeah, so I was working for Southwest Airlines as a knock analyst or whatever. So I would work overnight. So while I'm
I gotta
working-
ask you, how did it feel to lose that hookup?
Man,
Did you get the
it
free
was-
flights and stuff?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, you can
Honestly,
afford it now, but
yeah, honestly, it ain't, like even now, I haven't paid for a flight in like almost 2 years,
Yeah.
honestly, and that's pretty much because like my credit cards, like a lot of my business
we can talk about
expenses-
that. Me, you talked about that
Yeah,
all the
we
time.
did.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my expenses, like I put on my business credit cards. Like I haven't paid for a flight since maybe 2018, around that time. So,
Using points?
yeah, using points,
Bro.
Like, my business expenses, like
Every flight that I booked this year has been on points.
yeah, all of like points, everything.
It's getting to the point that where like I'm flying to Houston. Just
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
gotta get rid of these points, man. I'm going to Austin in 2 weeks. Like I live in Dallas. I can drive to Austin. Like no. I've gotten
Exactly.
spoiled now. Like
Exactly.
I hop on a plane. I'm in Austin in 45 minutes. It's
Exactly. Like now, I don't even care about the price of a plane ticket now. It's just like, all right, cool. Like it's like I went to Chicago last week, and I made a decision I was gonna go the day before I went, and I think the flight was like $600-700, and I was like, oh well, I got points. Let me just use my points, and
That was it. You pay
hotel,
that $11
everything.
tax.
Yep.
'Cause that's
Good.
it.
I'm good.
That's
And
it.
the
We were.
hotel.
Somebody's invited me to speak at an event. Me and my wife were in the car the other day, and I was like, it's coming up around the time my baby's gonna be due.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I'll just get it, put on my points, and
Yeah.
if I don't go, they just give me back the points.
Exactly.
It's not even like a regular flight.
Yeah.
Because on a regular
exactly.
flight, you got to get the insurance, get your money back. Depending on the airline, they may not even give you your money back.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they always give you your points
Yeah,
back.
nah, man. I ain't gonna lie, that was a change for me, and I got introduced that when I was consulting. So like, I pay for they let's keep all the points, and I'm getting all the status. Like I've been a diamond member for Hilton, like that's the highest status you can get for like 4 years now.
That's dope.
So yeah,
That's dope. That's a play, man. That's a play, and a lot of people don't understand the benefits of understanding certain concepts. When I talk to people about just a points game, like, man, how you always like? I went to go speak in Orlando, and the guy actually invited me out, and I was like, it was kind of a partnership. I said, I tell you what, you take care of my flight, I'll take care of the hotel. So when I showed him like where we were staying, he said, how much did you pay for the hotel? I'm just curious to know. And I showed him, he was like, how'd you get the hotel that cheap?
yeah,
He said, we're staying here tonight too. I was like, man, points, man. Like,
yeah. Them points are game changer.
he was like, you staying here for free. I was like, it's points. He's like, you travel that much? I'm like, yes. Like, we'll book hotels locally just so I can make sure I keep certain statuses and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
I know I had that was like, yeah, you got stay 3 more nights, three nights or whatever, so you can stay in your diamond status. I was like, oh cool, I'm going to Chicago, but I was already want to go there anyways. But it's like, oh cool, this just makes it even better.
Bro, that downtown Dallas Sheridan, that's our go-to spot. That's our go-to
exactly
spot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
The one where the event was.
Yep.
That's our go-to last-minute spot, the Dallas Ritz. They know me there. It's just like, I got to keep this status, so let me do it.
That status gets you a lot. Like, I can buy the cheapest room, and I'm going to get upgraded to the most expensive one.
Bro, it's a play.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand. Like, I always tell people, wealth is flashy, rich is quiet. Like, that's what the wealthy have been doing forever. Like, you get these statuses, you get a certain point, even like, and not to like promote a certain card because there's so many different cards, but like, let's just take the Amex Platinum. Like,
that's my favorite card.
That's my favorite card, bro. They metal now too, so it's real flex.
Yep.
But like, literally, you get bumped up to certain statuses. And you book the cheapest room, as soon as you go check in, it's like, if you book it through their website too.
Yeah.
So you know they're upgrading you to first class now?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, they are?
If you book through American Express Travel, if you get a regular flight, if you go through, I think it's American.
And that's why I'm most satisfied with American.
Because that's our hub.
Yeah.
So I think it's American and United, depending on which one it is, they will automatically, if they have an extra flight, they automatically bump you to first class.
All right, and I got status, so that's gonna be double. Like, you know, I got the status with them, and I'm because I normally book through because I've been trying to get off these Chase points. I got so many Chase points right now, so I've been booking through the Chase portal.
Yeah,
but I got like 500,000 Amex American Express points right now.
So it's funny you said it because I'm offloading my Chase points. So I used to travel so much when I worked in corporate. Every time I flew on a plane, I just apply for the card. Yeah. So you automatically get the 100,000 points.
Exactly.
So we use our Chase. I ain't gonna give y'all all the game, but we use our Chase card to do the balance transfers. Yep. Oh man, that's a whole nother conversation, right?
I do that too.
And so I've accumulated a lot of points over the years with my Chase. I got about 100,000 more, but I've flown Southwest 4 times in the last 3 months, all off points. All off points. And so it's like I never really use that card. I'm always using like my Amex is on my Apple Pay and everything. I run them up. But man, that's the best $450 annual fee.
Yeah, that's my gold card. Like I use.
You got both, don't you?
Yeah, I got both. Yeah. So yeah, I got the I actually got the gold personal and business, and I got the platinum business and personal.
You got the blue?
Yeah, I got the blue card. I got some of the American Express credit cards. Like
the blue was the play back in the day because you can add up to 100 people on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they don't let you do it.
They don't let you do it no more. But like if you was in the credit repair game back when authorized users was a real thing. Yeah. Oh man, you could charge people all kinds of money. Allegedly, you can do that. I might have to edit that out because all these niggas getting in trouble now. But let's wrap it up on this note. We have an event coming up, and so I'm not sure when this is going to come out, if that event's going to be unpassed. But one thing we do here in Dallas with Real Youth Mentoring is we teach boys different aspects of trades and entrepreneurship. And man, we did, how to make money in trucking, real estate. We've done how to make money in music, how to make money in sports without playing the game. And we said, we need to do tech. And you were the very first person that came to mind because I said, this guy is under 30, 26, and you got this tech thing down to a science. Like, talk about why it's important for kids, specifically under 18, between that middle school to high school, to learn about tech.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So I'd like to try to tell people this all the time. Like, I went to a public school, black school. People, I knew about technology, but I didn't understand like the technology industry. Like I was doing jailbreaking iPhones, fixing laptops. I was doing stuff like that, but I didn't really think about it as a career. I didn't really know about that until like my sophomore year of college type of thing. And so it was just like, I feel like if I would have known about it like way earlier, and I'm not anti-school, I just feel like school is a waste of my time. I probably honestly would have never went to college just because of the amount of money that I can make straight out of high school with some of the skills I possess. And sometimes I'm not deterring whatever people from going to college, right, or anything like that. But you gotta realize like college is not for everyone. Like,
it's not for. I got kicked out of speaking at some of the public schools here because I was getting invited by the college counselors, and then when I would get there, I would tell everyone college isn't for everyone.
It's not.
Well, college counselors, I don't know what the incentive is, but the high school counselors have an incentive to sign people up for college. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know the game. So I'm going up there like, yeah, you ain't got to go to college. And they like, no, don't say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A part of our thing is to hand them off to the college.
Nah, college not fair. Because you got to realize, bro, like, you taking up all this debt and you don't even know what you want to do. Like, me personally, I encourage people to do gap years. Like, figure out what it is that you really want to do. Like,
average person doesn't even come back after the first
exactly
year. That's average.
Exactly. And you got all these student loans and stuff like that. Because, like, a lot of us, we don't, like, you know, we don't get scholarships.
Average year of college is $30,000. It's 45 now.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
It's getting, well, don't quote me on that. Somebody gonna fact check me.
No,
it's not 45. It's 42. But like,
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And so
because UNT is like 30 for a year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I ain't no finesse. I ain't even getting in-state tuition.
Hey man, we can talk about that offline.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I just really feel like, you know, college isn't for everyone. Like, everyone don't want to go to college. No, like, you know, it's the same thing with like the standardized tests and all stuff like this, taking SAT scores and ACT and all stuff like that. Like, have you seen like that little meme picture of like the monkey, the elephant, the rat, whatever, and it's like, he go to test, climb this tree. Yeah. And not only the monkey is going to succeed, because I mean that's typically what he's done. And so when it comes to that, I feel like that's how college is. It's not like really unique to your experience or school as a whole. It's not really unique to like how you learn and how you do things.
The college experience is the biggest fucking lie that we sell our kids. Like, why are we selling them on an experience that? Because the college experience, and I've been on the record saying this, is fucking getting drunk or high if that's your thing. And making it through. Like, that's it. And then
depressed. You be depressed as hell.
You be depressed as fuck. And then you come home broke,
hungry.
Like, that's the most struggle. But it's like, you need to experience that. Why are we teaching our kids to experience that? And I'll tell people, I have a master's degree. Mm-hmm. I have never made a single penny using my degree.
Yeah, like, my degree is not even relevant to what I do. Like, it's not. And I mean, in the sense of the way it is on paper, it's not. But the class I took, it kind of helped. But still, on paper, people ask me,
they're not hiring you because of your degree.
Yeah, like, they even asked. I had one person ask me, like, when I first graduated, like, oh, well, what's this degree? Bullshit. I just got it just to check a mark, honestly. But
yeah, I was an old nigga that went back to school and got my degree. Then I got my master's. I'd actually had the intentions of using my master's, but no one would hire me. No one would hire me. So they'll hire me now.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just I wanted to get into collegiate education. Mm-hmm. And it's really clandestine. Mm-hmm. It's who you know. Yeah. So I learned that out. I learned that real quick. Like, it's who you know. And so the universities won't hire you because it's based on, you know, they have a tenure system. Yeah. But when you come in, like, they don't really make a ton of money. And not shitting on any of my, you know, my college professors, but they just don't. Then the adjunct route, you got to know somebody in the seat in the college, the community college. And you got to do a lot of jumping through hoops. Yeah. And because my major is history, it's like, you know, it ain't too many open history positions because, shit, everybody can teach history. Yeah. And so after applying and trying over and over, I was like doing that and then closing, like making $10,000, $15,000 on selling one house. You know, it's just like, well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'll just run this real estate play like I've been doing and buy properties, hold on to them and keep it moving. But I tried to use it. Yeah. Nobody would hire me.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because most people, they end up getting a college degree, they don't even use it. So it's like you just got a degree in business. Or I ain't gonna say. Honestly, I feel like that's the most useless. Let me not say that.
No. We can say a business degree is the most useless degree in the world. I actually got into UT Dallas Business School, which they have a really good business school. It's ranked. I got into that, and I think what threw me was that none of my teachers own businesses.
Yep.
Like, none of them.
That's like, how are you going to teach me about business? You don't need to have a business. I feel like if you're going to get like MBA, anything like that, it's all about the school you go to. It's politics.
You know, they was pushing that whole MBA shit about 10 years ago. Like, you know, and then what happens is,
you don't need it.
I always tell people when black people start getting them, the value went down.
Yep. Like, no, that's actually, because now, like, you know, master's degree used to be the standard. Now it's like, okay, cool, whatever.
They be trying to. I posted something the other day. People get mad. Them educated niggas was getting mad at me. I posted something like, it was a job application or a job thing that was like starting somebody at like $37,000 with a master's degree. And
my degree costs more than that.
And it's like, you know, when people get in their feelings, they always justify why you're wrong. But I'm like, Yo, I didn't create the post. Like this, you know what I'm saying? This ain't my
I just
job
reposted
posting.
it.
Like, you know, of course, well, you're not speaking about the truth of it. Well, I mean, the truth is the salary is $37,000.
Yeah.
Like, who can afford, to live off of that?
I gotta pay back student loans, all this. Nah.
That's not a living wage.
No, it's not at all.
But there's this thing in our community where we can't call bullshit on bullshit. Like, whenever you say that something ain't gonna benefit us as a people or benefit anyone, then you either hating or you think you better. So here I am teaching you how to run a play to make more money where you don't need a degree, where you don't need this. Just get your credit right, do these things. You don't want to listen. Well, then when the play materializes, and I'm like, man, you could be doing this. Oh, man, you think you better than us. Man, fuck out of here, man. Like, it's lose-lose with people who don't have the mindset to grow.
Is.
You know what I'm saying? So I completely stopped focusing on them and start aligning myself with people who have the mindset to grow.
That's crazy that you said that, because I know for me, like, the stuff that I'm doing now, I was doing it way before. Like, no one listened to me. When I bought my McLaren, and that's when everything just really started. Everybody want to pay attention. I'm like, bro, I've been telling y'all this same shit for 2-3 years now, probably longer, and now y'all want to listen to me because I have all this stuff. Like, that's wild to me.
That's what happened with us when I was telling everybody to buy houses in South Dallas, Pleasant Grove, Oak Cliff. I don't want to live over there. Now it's a housing shortage. We were buying houses for $20,000, bro. Now all of a sudden you can't get into a house at all. Tim, you got some more of them houses in Oak Cliff? No,
they gone.
No, well, you got some rental properties? No, my tenant's paying. I'm not gonna evict my tenant because because your ass did. I get you over here, you ain't gonna pay me. You ain't gonna do right by me.
Exactly.
So man, but listen, man, I want to thank you so much for one, your time, but two, the investment that you're going to make into our boys. I can't wait for the event. By the time this airs, I'm sure the event will be over. But the fact that you're giving your time, effort, and energy to show boys that, hey, I come from exactly where you come from. I've been through exactly what you've been through. We're not the same, but man, we're similar. And here's an alternative to what's promoted to us. Growing up, I thought the only options I had was to get a government job, sell dope, or play a sport, or sing a song, or do a dance. That was it. Like, everybody who made it in my life was doing those things. You either go work for the government, the post office, the city.
I didn't even have that one.
Join the military.
No, that was an option.
Yeah.
Military. I was always like, I don't even try to portray it. Like, I was always scared to say it. They never came across my mind. I was too scared because, like, my uncle, he was in our jail, was selling drugs. So, like, most of the stuff that I learned, it was by, like, examples of what not to do for the most thing. So, like, I didn't really have, like, that positive figure to be like, oh, no, don't do this, don't do that. So it was more so like I did like a lot of growing up on my own, just kind of seeing stuff. And luckily my mom did a great job raising me as well too. So.
All right, so where can we find you at, man? You're very, very, very active on social media. Where can people find you?
So my Twitter, I'm not on Twitter as much, but my Twitter is Tay On Tech. I'm mostly on TikTok and Instagram now just because video is the way to spread information nowadays.
Yep.
So my TikTok is Tay On Tech and my Instagram is tayontech.io. Beware of scam pages because I have a lot of them. So,
when you're doing big things, you get scam pages, man. Then you get a page took from you because a scammer tried to pretend to be you and they took the scammer side.
Yeah, they ended up giving it back to me though. But yeah, that happened. Okay. Yeah. So it's actually I've been deleted like 3 times because of that. But now, I know somebody that worked there and they kind of helped me. So. All right. Yeah. But.
Well, man, it's been real good. This thing stopped recording, so we'll just do it on the audio. Okay. It's been good talking to you, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate the work that you're putting in for the community, and I can't wait to see you grow, man. So keep doing your thing, all right?
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Be cool.